and middle-class families. As we take a live look at this airport, we have seen some dignitaries arriving to greet the president. A number of local politicians are expected. We did see Mayor Lightfoot arrive. We've also seen Cook County President Tony Preckwinkle. Mayor Lightfoot is expected to have a meeting with the president before he heads to McHenry County College, where he will be talking about that agenda that I just mentioned. No idea at this point how long the president will be meeting with Mayor Lightfoot. We have not been given any time frame at this time, as the president is here to push back his Build Back Better America plan. Obviously, no doubt, the mayor and the president will be talking about the violence that Chicago has been dealing with. And we had a record high number for the year over the July 4th weekend. Numbers very bad. And then, of course, we had that incident this morning where 2 ATF agents were injured, and also where a police officer was injured. As usually happens when Air Force One lands, we see the press pool coming out first. But right now we are seeing they're opening the door for President Biden to come out to speak. So here's what we know about what's going to happen for today, as opposed to what I've just told you. He is going to be speaking at McHenry County College. He's going to be talking about making a case for creating free community college, extending the child tax care credit, and achieving universal pre-K education, all part of his American Families Plan that so far has garnered little support from Republicans. And that's what makes this trip very interesting as well, because he is coming to Crystal Lake, and that is an area that actually Donald Trump won, not Crystal Lake specifically, but McHenry County as a whole, with 50% of the votes to Biden's 47%, even though Illinois, of course, is predominantly Democratic. That is an area that was a stronghold for Donald Trump. So this stop by President Biden is just the latest to hit some swing regions of the country to highlight his efforts to drive a strong recovery from this pandemic. He's calling that the Build Back Better Agenda Plan. And as we look at the bottom at the stairs there is Lori Lightfoot and Cook County President Preckwinkle. As I said, they are the first among them to greet the president as he steps off of Air Force One and comes down the stairs. Now, again, we have been told there will be a meeting of these three, and definitely the two, Lightfoot and President Biden. We have no idea if this is going to be a quick handshake and hello and welcome to our area, or if they will be stepping aside to have even more of a discussion. Hard to say, because he does have that agenda filled out for him where he will be speaking to the people of McHenry County. And also, we are told once he goes there will be other politicians from Illinois that will be greeting him in Crystal Lake. That includes Governor Pritzker, and also Senator Dick Durbin, we are told, will be speaking to the president and welcoming him once he makes his stop at Crystal Lake. So we see the president walking by Mayor Lightfoot after shaking her hand, giving a hug to Tony Preckwinkle at this time. And now we'll wait and see what's going to happen at this point. Is this a greeting just to say hi and welcome to our area, or will there be more involved? Obviously, Chicago has been a focus of attention because of the incredible violence that we have been dealing with throughout the summer. But Chicago isn't the only area. Across the country, violence in other cities also taking place, and this is definitely something that is front and center for the president as well. And he has talked about different agendas that he has tried to pass, including giving more money to deal with gun control issues and violence. Obviously, because of this is going to be front and center. Our political editor, Mike Flannery, is standing by. And Mike, tell us about what we can expect from today. And do you have any idea what's going to happen with the mayor and the president? Because they're talking right now, but he's going to have to be leaving soon to head to your direction.
Well, yes, late yesterday, the mayor told us specifically that she was going to ask President Biden for help on guns. She said she's going to urge him. She understands how difficult it is on Capitol Hill, that there likely are not the votes for what she calls common sense gun legislation, but that's what she's says will be at the top of her request list from the president. She said she will express her gratitude for naming Chicago as the base for one of the 5 federal task forces that will be aiming at urban violence. It is, of course, we had a grim reminder this morning when those 2 agents from the ATF Bureau and a Chicago police officer were shot there at 119th Street off of I-57 in the Morgan Park neighborhood. But that is precisely the kind of enforcement effort, the kind of anti-violence, anti-criminal violence effort that the mayor is going to urge the president to do more of. She says she's glad Chicago is going to be home base for one of those 5 federal task forces that are going to be deployed this summer. When it comes to what's going to happen here, Sylvia, in McHenry, just up the road at the college, the White House says the president will be visiting, among other things he'll see on this campus, a daycare center. We do know that one of the things that is holding some workers back, even though we have a record number of job vacancies and jobs available, one of the things holding some workers back is that they can't find daycare for their children. And others who have to care for the elderly, perhaps for parents or other aging relatives, they're being held back from the workforce as well. President Biden has featured elder care and child care as part of what he calls human infrastructure. He'd like to include that in an infrastructure bill, but Illinois Republicans and national Republicans on Capitol Hill are pushing back. You mentioned Governor Pritzker. One potential challenger to Governor Pritzker on the Republican side is Taylorville Congressman Rodney Davis. He has said he's okay with money for roads, bridges, locks and dams on the Mississippi River, the transit in Chicago. But when it comes to daycare and elder care, he says that is not in the Republican definition of infrastructure, and they don't think that should be included in this package. Sylvia, back to you.
We should let you know, I was asking you if you knew how long the meeting between the mayor and the president would be. It appears to be over because we see the president has boarded Marine One. And as we sit and watch Marine One about to take off, I have to ask you, I think it's interesting. A lot of people are saying, why is the president going to Crystal Lake of all places? Not that that's a great place to go and a great community, but let's talk about his strategic plan, why he decided to hit that area.
Well, it's a swing area. It is McHenry County here is the only collar county that President Trump carried. He got 50% of the vote here. Joe Biden got 47%. There are dozens of Trump banners as I was coming up Route 14 through Crystal Lake towards the campus. There are many of those familiar Trump 2020 banners that we saw during the campaign. There are people out who, based on the signage that they're displaying, they believe that President Trump was elected. I did not get to talk to them. I suspect they don't think he carried Illinois, having lost Illinois by more than double digits, a gigantic landslide that Joe Biden won Illinois by. But this is one of those purple parts of the Chicago area, and the White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki told reporters in Washington that the president is coming here because he wants to underscore that he plans to be the president for all Americans and not just for those who voted for him.
This was such an important area as well because this is Lauren Underwood's district, and we all know what that race was like. You know, the final decision between her and Oberweis, and how there was a controversy over that, and then finally she ended up winning. And she is somebody who, as a result of where she is important to the White House. Is her office not? Because as a Democrat, that is an area, as you said, that was carried by a lot of Republicans in favor of the former president.
Yeah, it's, you know, in terms of the district, the signal is breaking up a little bit there, Sylvia. If you were asking about Underwood and next year, the campaign. I can tell you that later this fall, after those official Census Bureau numbers come out, the General Assembly is going to reconvene down in the state capitol, and they are going to redraw those district boundaries. The 14th district, this is now part of Lauren Underwood's district, as you said. 14 is one of those districts certain to be redrawn, certain to have Democratic voters added, Republican voters subtracted. Also up here, by the way, to see the president as he tours this area is the congressman who represents the district just to the south, Raja Krishnamurthy from Schaumburg. He's up here. He, of course, has several important committee assignments. He's a key guy in terms of in terms of House oversight and in terms of the legislation that steered about $13 billion in new federal aid to the state government and to local governments, including the city of Chicago. Raja Krishnamurthy is a guy who is getting to be fairly influential on Capitol Hill. He's up here, too. His district certain to change in that remap, Sylvia.
Okay, Mike, I'm curious, too, how important this is to the president, because they say he is going to a lot of different swing regions of the country to try to sell his plan that has not been welcomed by the Republicans. So how important are visits like this as we watch Marine One taking off?
Well, there's, there are people, based on what I saw of the dozens of Trump supporters with their banners, I suspect if Joe Biden comes into view in earshot, they're going to give him an earful. It's clear they're not fans of the president. They're also on the campus are going to be supporters, Democratic voters. The district here, McHenry County, rather, was closely balanced, as I mentioned. Trump carried it 50-47. So the president, if he were to take a stroll through downtown Crystal Lake, which is a couple blocks from me here, he might hear cheers and jeers, depending on who he ran into.
Okay, well, I know you're going to be covering this for us, so we'll look for your complete coverage throughout the day. Mike Flannery, thank you for joining me, and we're going to have more of our team coverage of the president's visit straight ahead on the news at noon. We're going to bring you his arrival in Crystal Lake live. Right now, let's take a break, and we'll be right back with Fox 32 News at noon.